Welcome back, Queen, to another episode of According to Annie. I am Annie, your host. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited, as always, because I get to drop in with you. What an honor it is to be in your ears right now and hearing where you're at and what's been going on. Oh my gosh, I love when you guys send me emails or send me through some DMs telling me what's happening in your world. So please keep doing that. I love that so much. I love hearing from you. I love hearing your podcast suggestions and just anything, any feedback that you have, any light bulb moments that you've had. I love hearing it all. So please keep that coming on in. I love hearing from you. If you are new, welcome. I'm Annie. I am the founder of the According to Annie podcast and also the According to Annie business mentoring program as well. So, so good to be here. So good to be here. Today's conversation that I want to share with you is a conversation that I recently had with one of my private clients around hiring of staff. And so before I get into all of the nitty gritties around the hiring of staff with what that looks like with her, I just want to bring this topic to the forefront because I feel like it's something that's really, really common. I feel like it's something that happens a lot in the hair and beauty world. And I see it in all of the Facebook post groups as well, where it's like, there's no staff out there. I can't find any staff. Staff don't want to work. There's just everyone's going out on their own. My staff don't want to stay. Like, there's a lot of stories. And so if you are someone that is interested in finding staff, first of all, I would say to you, get out of those Facebook groups. Okay. I say this to all of my clients, get out of those Facebook groups because those kind of Facebook groups are not always the most uplifting. And I say this all the time, energy over everything, right? And so if you're in a Facebook group where there's a lot of negativity, where there's a lot of like, woe is me, things are like this, then you are feeding off that energy and it is also impacting you as well. So if you are in groups, make sure those groups are uplifting. Make sure those groups are challenging your current belief system rather than buying into the story that you are currently buying into of that there's no staff out there, because I call bullshit, right? There is so many staff out there. I talk to both business owners and I also talk to a lot of employees. And there's a lot of employees that are very unhappy in their workplace right now. And they would give anything to go and work for somebody else. But the thing is that you guys are all buying into the story of that there's no staff out there. So you're not even bothering to write up a proper ad in order to attract these people. And so this is what I want to talk to you about with this conversation that I had with this beautiful private client who's been one of my private clients for a very long time. I would say like over 2 years, this private client has been with me. So she's been in and out of different containers. She's been to my retreat. So she knows how it works in my world and she knows that I don't subscribe to anything like that. And as a mentor, I believe that as a mentor, it's your responsibility to really listen to what that person is saying and help pull them up and out, like up and out into their highest potential. Yeah. That's really what a mentor's job is, not to subscribe and buy into the stories that you're telling yourself. And we do things very different in my world. And I know that my teachings and my methods are not for everybody, but for those that it is, have phenomenal results, like literally phenomenal. Like I'm going to share with you right now how fucking phenomenal they are when you have huge breakthroughs in my world, because as soon as you have that breakthrough, everything literally changes in your world. Like that, literally like that. That's how quick it can be. And so with this particular conversation we were having, so this particular client has been with me since she has been off and had babies, and you know the salon has survived without her being there, and she's got staff on, and things have changed a little bit as well. So she has also recently had some staffing situations that have changed. One of the girls has gone off on like a 3-month holiday, another one's about to go off on a 3-month holiday, and so she has had to go back on the floor. That's what she thought. And so we were having this conversation and she's like, you know, I've realized now after having so much time off the salon floor and really focusing more on the business, how crucial it actually is for me to stay focused on the business. And when I am on the floor, I don't get as much time to get those things done on the business, and then the business does suffer. And so I said to her, okay, cool. So this is a great realization that you've had, that you need to understand that working on the business is actually equally important as, you know, you being on clients, if that's what you want to do. So where are you at with the staffing situation? Because we've had previous conversations about her doing an ad and getting an ad up, and I have like this entire framework that is like none other than what everybody else is doing, and this is why it fucking works. And so I said, where are you at with like putting up an ad and calling in this staff member? And she was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like I just feel like there's no staff out there, Annie. And I was like, okay, so have you done any posting? Like, have you got an ad up? Like, tell me, like, what's the strategy behind this right now? And so she was like, well, I did like one post on my feed. I did that like, you know, a month or two ago, and I was like, okay, great. And I was like, and what about your energy? How's your energy behind it? Because I truly believe that these two things play a major role in your success. So you can hit post on that ad, right? But deep down, if you're like, nah, I don't really think that there's anybody out there, or I don't even know why I'm fucking bothering, like everybody says, if there's no staff out there, if that's your energy that you're coming to behind it, guaranteed that that's going to actually end up being your result, right? No matter how much you hit post, no matter how many platforms you put that ad on, none of that matters because your energy behind it wasn't right. Okay. So, and she knows this because we've been in each other's world for a while. So I said to her, like, where's your energy? She's like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think my focus really has just been on this one particular staff member who has been with her for a very long time, and she is going away for 3 months. She's coming to Europe, and she's going to do a Europe trip. And she's like, you know, I've just really been trying to focus on that, and, you know, make sure that her clients are sorted and looked after. And yeah, like, and I think, you know, maybe we'll just have to go back on the floor. And I said, is that what you want to do? And she's like, no, not really. Like, I really do want to keep focusing on the business, but I just don't think that there's any staff out there. And so as we were chatting a little bit deeper about this, I said to her, so tell me a little bit about this, like, there's no staff out there. What are you actually doing? And she was like, well, I've done the one post. I'm like, okay, cool. So you've done one post. And she's like, yeah. I was like, have you done any paid advertising? Have you like posted in any of the groups? Like, have you done any of that? And she's like, no. I was like, okay. So it's really important that we manifest our stuff, right? I'm a big believer in manifesting, but we can't just sit and manifest it and pray and be like, I want this staff member to come into my life. Like, I'm looking for someone that is age 30, that is, you know, doing this, doing that, is excelling in this. She's amazing. She's a team player. She wants to work Saturdays. And then that's it. And I think in the spiritual world, this does get a little bit caught. A lot of people get caught up in this, that you just manifest, just manifest the person, and the person will come into your life. Just manifest the money, and the money will come into your life. You can manifest, but then you have to follow it up with action. And so, like I said to her, with this situation, like, yes, it's great that you have manifested and you've thought about who this person is that you want to call in. But if you're not taking any action steps, how does this person find where you are? They don't know that you're looking for them. Like, if they're trying to find their dream boss and you're not putting anything out there for them to find, then this person is never going to come to your world. And she's like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I'm like, yeah, so you have to help this person find you. And that means posting. And then she said to me, oh, well, you know, the post that I did share a couple of weeks ago, I did get 2 people send me a message. And I was like, oh, really? Amazing. She's like, yeah. But their message was, both of them was asking me where the salon was located. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, and so I messaged them and I said, like, it's located here in this location. And she's like, oh, but like, that just annoyed me. And I don't want to hire someone like that. And I was like, okay, like, why did that annoy you? And she's like, well, because like, attention to detail, if they can't even read the post, or they can't even read where this person is, where the salon is, then why would I even employ them? And I was like, okay, cool, amazing. And she kept talking. And I said to her, so you literally put an organic post out and you had 2 people inquire about the position. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, you do realize that that's like unheard of for a lot of people? And she's like, oh, is it? I was like, I was like, does that really not qualify someone for an interview because they asked for the location of the salon? And then she said this to me. And this is, I'm sharing this conversation with you because I know that she is not alone. I know that this happens for so many of you. Then she says to me, well, then I went and stalked their Instagram and they don't even live in my area. So why would they even bother asking? So I didn't even respond back to it because they don't even live in the area. And I said to her, you're making a lot of assumptions right now. And she's like, what do you mean? I seen their Instagram. They don't live in the area. And I said, you don't know that they're not going to move to the area. You don't know that maybe they've got a sick family member that lives in the same area as you and they're moving to that spot. You don't know that maybe their husband's work has been shifted to your area and they're about to move. Like, you have made so many assumptions based on this situation here at hand. And she was like, yeah, I have. I was like, I think that what is actually happening right now is that you're actually scared of having these staff member be the exact staff member that you want. Because right now there's a need that's being met. It's a need that you don't like, but it's a need that's being met where you get to play the victim in the story. You can be like, oh, I have to work so hard. Like, it's so hard with my baby. Like, I don't have babysitters, but like, oh my gosh, like I have to work. And I said, perhaps there's an element of you that's thriving off that because people are saying to you, like, I don't know how you do it. Like, oh my gosh, look at you go. Like, wow. And there's a part of you that's actually thriving in that. And if you were to actually put on a staff member, you would not be so chaotic. You would not be running around like a headless chook. You wouldn't be able to play the victim in this story anymore. And so essentially what you're doing is you're creating a self-sabotage for yourself by coming up with all of these assumptions and making out like that these people aren't the right fit for you when you don't know that. And you just seen her face, like there's just this light bulb moment that went off and she was like, oh my gosh, I think you're right. I think that, yeah. And we were just discussing, like, I think that it actually scares you because you're so used to living in scarcity. You're so used to being in survival mode. You're so used to just doing everything all on your own. And then, God forbid that, it actually gets to be that easy where 2 people send you a DM saying, hey, where's the location of the salon? I'm interested in this position. Like, wow, it gets to be that easy. Hang on, this is not a familiar story that I'm used to. And so we often create self-sabotage situations to eliminate us from living our big dream life. I know that it sounds absolutely crazy, but it's what we do. And we do it because we want to stay safe. Yeah. Anything outside of our comfort zone feels very unfamiliar territory. And so if it's unfamiliar territory, the ego wants to protect you. That's actually the ego's job, is to protect you from doing anything out of the comfort zone. And so this is what happens. So we have to really learn to start to become really aware. Like, self-awareness is honestly one of the biggest keys. And just by us having this conversation, she had so many breakthroughs around it that, do you know what happened next? This is the best fucking part. So about 4 days, I think it was 4 days, 5 days, it was not long after her and I had this conversation, she had this huge breakthrough of like, yes, like I actually think that there's an element of fear here that if I did have this team member, then I wouldn't have to go back on the floor and I could earn more money and all of these stories that she was holding on to wouldn't exist anymore. Once she had that breakthrough, a lady came and knocked on her salon door and came in and said, I'm just wondering if you're hiring right now. Like, what the fuck? And she messaged me, she sends me a voice message and she's like, you'll never guess what just happened today. She's like, I literally had this lady come in. She's the same, a similar age to her staff member that's going off on leave for 3 months. She does similar work to this person. She's like, I literally feel like I have just picked up another exact same person of my staff member. And I was like, I'm not surprised, because that's where your energy has been focused right now, is how do you replace this person that's leaving for 3 months to go off and do leave so that you didn't have to be on the floor. So naturally you manifested this. But then after having this breakthrough, and then she posted the ad as well. So that was the other thing that happened. As soon as we had the conversation, she reposted it back up. And then this lady walks into her salon and she's like, are you advertising? And she since then has done some training and she's put her on and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that it got to be this easy. Like, wow. And so this is why mentorship is so fucking powerful. And this is why I will preach this until the fucking cows come home, because without her having this conversation with me, she would have been still stuck in her timeline. She would have still been playing out that same old story of, there's no staff out there, I can't find anyone. The staff that I find, like, they're not suitable anyway, and all of these stories that are on repeat to keep you safe. She would have been stuck in that. And then this staff member that's about to go away and do a Europe trip for 3 months, she would have had to have gone back on the salon floor. Then can you imagine the strain that would have put on her relationship, because she would have been coming home more tired. Then the baby would have had to have been passed off to other different places in order for her to be back on the salon floor. And we just eliminated all of that stress that was going to actually happen, because we actually did the manifesting part of it. So we knew exactly who we were calling in as a staff member. Then we followed it up with the action. And then it's a matter of you trusting and surrendering. And that's exactly what happened. And that's how quick it can happen. And so after we had this conversation, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, again, this is just showing me once again how powerful of a manifestor I am. And I'm like, we all are. We all are powerful manifestors when we truly believe that we are, when we truly know how to actually manifest, when we truly know the steps that we need to take in order to manifest. And so I was so happy for her. I was so excited. And like, she's putting this staff member on, and like, oh my gosh. So if you're subscribing to the story right now of, you know what, I just don't think that there's staff out there, I invite you to stop subscribing to that. What would it look like? Why are you holding on to that story? How is that serving you right now? Because it is serving you in some way, shape, or form. And that's where you get to break through. Like, what is that story that you're holding on to that's actually stopping you from having this life full of freedom, having this life that you actually dream of? Like, what is stopping you? And my friend, this is the kind of work that we do in my new upcoming program that is going to be launched very soon. So if this is the type of work that you're interested in, that mindset, that manifesting, the energetics, the strategy of business and salon owners and all of the juiciness, then get on the wait list. You'll see in the show notes that there is a application, not an application, but just a wait list. So you can drop your name and email, and you'll be the first people to know, because it's not going to be publicly launched straight up. It's going to be a secret little launch for those that are on the list first, and then we will then open it up to the public. So if this is something that you're really interested in, and you're like, yes, I need this, I need to manifest, I need to break through my stories and work through all this shit that I know is holding me back, and I don't know what it is, but I know that it's there, then this is your sign, right? This is your sign. Come and get your name on the wait list. And I am so excited to share with you what is coming very, very soon. So have a beautiful day. That is all I've got to share with you today. If you have had a beautiful takeaway, again, come and let me know. I would love to hear from you. If you have anchored something in for yourself, come and share with me. I would love to hear. Otherwise, have a beautiful evening, day, night, whatever time it is that you are listening to this beautiful podcast. And I love you, and I'll talk to you so soon. Bye.